Election conspiracy theorist Sidney Powell suffered yet another setback in court this week when a judge dismissed her counterclaim against Dominion Voting Systems, which of course is suing Sidney Powell for the allegedly false claims that she has been making against the company. And as usual, we have to say allegedly because yada, yada, yada. Legally speaking, gotta say it. Either way, Sidney Powell had wanted to stick it to Dominion by somehow claiming they were trying to silence her and other critics of the company with their lawsuits against them. But U.S. District Court Judge Carl Nichols saw right through this idiotic argument, and this is what Nichols said in his ruling dismissing Powell's counterclaim. Here it is. Powell must allege that Dominion, after filing its suit, performed some act that perverted the judicial process. But Powell's complaint fails to link her abusive process claim to any act that Dominion has taken other than filing and pursuing its lawsuit. She has thus failed to state a claim for abuse of process. Now, what set Sidney Powell off was that Dominion has, of course, asked other people who are also, spreading lies about the company, to issue retractions, which is what you do before you can file a defamation lawsuit. You first ask for a retraction and apology. If that does not happen, then you file defamation. And so Dominion's done that for other people. Sidney Powell apparently got wind of this and said, "Oh boy, they're trying to silence critics, so I'm going to sue them for doing that." And the judge is like, you're just making stuff up. What are you even doing? Now, of course, he said it in slightly nicer language than that, but as you can see from what I just read, it wasn't exactly nice. The judge said you failed. Like, all you had to do was prove one single thing that you were alleging, and you couldn't even do that. Now, here's the weird part. Let's not forget Sidney Powell is a lawyer, so she knows what she would have to prove in order to be able to file the claim, okay? It's not like she's Mike Lindell, who knows nothing about the law and would tell his lawyers like, "Oh, countersue them for this stuff." Sidney Powell knows better, or at least she should, and she still couldn't figure out how to do this because I think deep down she probably knew that she had a claim, or didn't have a claim, excuse me. But Nichols continued, and I want to keep reading this because it's so fun. Powell claims that both acts support talking about Dominion telling people, "Hey, stop saying these things, retract them or we're going to sue you." Powell claims that both acts support a finding that Dominion is using its lawsuit to suppress public criticism. But neither of these acts is improper, and both fall far short of the usual case of abuse process where there is an attempt at extortion in a manner collateral to the litigation. So basically, the judge went on to say, what Dominion's doing is literally what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, if they had randomly just said, "No, screw it, we're not even going to reach out about a retraction and apology. Nope, we're just going to straight up sue you," that would be trying to silence your critics. See, a lot of folks, especially, by the way, those on the right, don't quite understand how defamation lawsuits work. They're very difficult to prove. The person who is alleging defamation has to prove the other knowingly, with willful intent, defamed them. Same goes for the countersuits, basically like what Sidney Powell was trying to prove. You can't just say, "Oh, they're trying to silence me, so I'm suing them." You have to be able to prove that. It is not on Dominion in a suit like that to defend themselves. You have to prove they did. They don't have to prove that they didn't. See how that works? It's the same thing with defamation as well. Dominion will have to prove Powell did these things. She doesn't have to prove that she didn't. Unless, of course, they prove it and then she tries to disprove it, whatever. But either way, Sidney Powell's not having good luck, folks. Things are not going her way. In fact, nobody that's being sued by Dominion is having things go their way. This is truly remarkable because it's one of the few times we've seen defamation cases against Fox News, against all these lawyers, against other individuals. Nobody's been able to escape it. Dominion clearly has a rock-solid case. So I suggest all parties involved, from Sidney Powell to Mike Lindell to Fox News, buckle up, because it's not going to get any more pleasant from here. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.